Support the great work of the Strike 7 Sports Saints discussion section by purchasing licensed NFL fan gear. Items range from Saints hats, jerseys, t-shirts, socks, and so much more. We would greatly appreciate it if you would purchase these items from the text link listed below. The revenue generated from today's offer goes into the funding of the Strike 7 Sports platform. Click on the link strike7sports.com/Saints Fanatics. You will be taken over to Fanatics website. Thank you. Yo, what's up? This is your boy Derek Branch here at Saint Discussions on Strike 7 Sports. And today I just want to talk about the recent news surrounding the New Orleans Saints, the current topics that are, hot topics right now with the team. So I heard a story today online, and I want to share my thoughts on it in the next segment. But right now, I want to talk about the argument of Pete Warner versus Kwon Alexander. When I say Pete Warner versus Kwon Alexander, I'm talking about who should start in that position opposite of Demario Davis. Now, if you recall, Warner was a second round draft pick in the 2021 NFL draft out of the Saints farm system, The Ohio State University, to play opposite of next to Kwon Alexander, whatever you want to say. The opposite of him, next to him, doesn't matter. But to be on the field with not Kwon Alexander, I'm tripping. I'm sorry, Demario Davis at the same time. So the Saints, the Saints decided to bring back Kwon Alexander, even though he suffered a torn ACL injury last year, the 2020, the year that the Saints traded for him, the year that we saw the difference in the Saints defense as an entire unit. They decided to bring him back on a new deal, cheaper. Well, I won't say cheaper deal, but yeah, it was a cheaper deal. Bring him back on a 1 year deal. Came in. Even though I think he beat out Pete Warner for that role, but Alexander got hurt again. Went on IR. Missed a couple of games, and Pete Warner started in his place and played pretty well. Now, what I've been seeing a lot online, even in the media, talk radio, and that's the argument for the Saints to keep Kwon Alexander because of what he brings to the table, the energy that he provides on the field, veteran experience. Everybody, the locker room loves him. He plays great with Demario Davis, great communicator on the field, and that's all great. However, for me, is his availability for me, and that's he doesn't stay healthy for an entire year, for a bulk of the year. For the past 2 seasons that the Saints have had him, he has missed time. He was playing really well when the Saints made that move for him in 2020, and again in the Minnesota game, the game where Kamara dropped those 7 TDs on the Vikings. He was lost for the season, torn ACL. Rehab through that, came back, signed a 1 year deal with the Saints. Went on IR for I think it was a shoulder injury, elbow or shoulder injury. Went on IR, spent some time on IR. But Pete Warner comes in, plays really well in this position, in his place. Now, think about this as well, and I'm just reiterating what Nick Underhill said. I think Nick Underhill said of New Orleans Down Football. He got some valid point here. If the Saints bring back Kwon Alexander and have him compete with Pete Warner for that second linebacker position on the team with Demario Davis, that makes it look like Warner was a bad pick, was a wasted pick. And you think about it, I gotta agree with him. It does make the Saints look like we wasted another draft pick on a player, that they expect to come in and produce. The verdict is still out on Cesar Ruiz, and everybody was thinking that was a reach on that pick, and the pick of Peyton Turner, who has hardly any time on the field. So you will want, I think, as a Saints fan, a follower of the team, you will want Pete Warner to work out. You want him to work out because, to me, he is and a rookie playing a linebacker producing at a high level, on a playing on a rookie deal is a big deal to me. Um, I don't. The situation with Kwon Alexander is that the last I heard was that he was meeting with the New York Jets. Now I don't know what was the outcome of that situation. I haven't heard any contract negotiations or anything like that. I haven't heard any of the teams that he's met with, but last I heard he met with the New York Jets. And him returning back to the Saints is up in the air right now. Unknown. I would say we have a month away from, I would say 2 months away from training camp. If we don't hear any traction by then, most likely Kwon Alexander will not be back with his team. It would be Pete Warner's spot to lose going forward. Now, God forbid, if he gets hurt, if Warner goes down with an injury that can sideline it for some time, then maybe the Saints could make that call to Kwon Alexander and possibly overpay for him. But you just can't give that money to players that produces, but they they're not available on the field at the majority of the season, the bulk of the season. You just can't get that money to him. You know, if I mean, I think maybe he's wanting a little more money than what the Saints are offering him. He's worth more than what the Saints are trying to pay him. Who knows? But I think going forward, I think P1 should be the guy. In my opinion, I think he should be the guy going forward. I know I'm in the minority on this, but if the Saints do not bring Kwon Alexander back, I won't be too worried about how the defense perform as a unit. I think P1 has done enough to get in that spot. So we'll just have to see how everything plays out. Going forward. Um, should be interesting to see how Warner does in that position without Kwon Alexander on the field. This ain't a bash Kwon video or I think he sucks or anything like that. It's just that right now, man, for the Saints selected this guy P1 in the second round for a reason. They take him, they pick him, they chose him to be a second round pick for a reason, to be the future of the team. And like I said, if you bring back Alexander to play, for this season, that what that says is that you're not confident. You're not confident in Pete Warner going forward as future of the team. When you got guys like Demario Davis, they're nearing the end of their careers. You gotta find guys that you believe can take over that spot. That could be the future leaders of this team. You know. So we'll see how everything plays out. All right, now I want to segue over to this. What I heard today from Fox Sports One talk radio show host Colin Cowherd, and today he was stating his reasonings why the Saints should make a move from Baker Mayfield, and that's despite the team already having a starting QB. So if you're not heard by now, there's been even though that report already came out well before the national media got whiffed of it from the local media about Winston practicing in OTAs with a limp, with a noticeable limp. It's not a big deal because Dennis Allen already stated and Winston already stated that he has a long road to overcome. This is only a process. It wasn't like he was doing any contact drills or anything hard like that, or he was practicing with being under duress. These are OTA drills, man, voluntary. So I just want to play with I got the audio of what Colin said today. I got the my bad. I got the audio of what Colin said today on the topic. So here you go.
So I am often viewed as Mr. Negative with Baker Mayfield. I think it's unfair, but I've said a lot of things that end up on YouTube and aren't that complimentary. Let me flip it. Today, I finally found a place for Baker Mayfield, and I actually think he could be really successful. So I saw a story yesterday about Jameis Winston of the Saints, OTAs limping around. Remember, he tore an ACL last year? He wasn't a great athlete to begin with. And he's always been perpetually goofy. But Baker Mayfield and his agent should really try to get to New Orleans. And I'll tell you why. Number one, they've already moved Taysom Hill, I think, smartly out of the quarterback room. Drew Brees, Taysom Hill, that was, come on, give me a break. No, that was a Sean Payton idea. Maybe Sean Payton can make it work. Now they have a defensive coach. They've moved Taysom Hill out of the quarterback room. Number two, nobody really is all in on Jameis. He's always been, Jameis. I mean, let's be honest. He went 7-9. They brought in Brady, and they won the Super Bowl. That was not a great day in his career. So there's a lot of doubters with Jameis Winston, and now he's limping around. Number three is Saints are actually an effective quarterback away from in the NFC making the playoffs. It's a bad division, and they have a real defense. I mean, they want to win now. Atlanta, we know what they're doing. Carolina, we kind of know what they're doing. Saints aren't in a rebuild. Maybe they'd be in a rebuild if you put them in the AFC West or the NFC West. In that division, that's not a rebuild. This is not a team that's going to go 4-13 and 5-12, especially if you got Baker Mayfield. And what's really important is to see around the corners, and I think Baker and his people probably know this. Tom Brady, this is the last year. I mean, it feels like it, right? There are multiple stories out there that he was going to go to the Dolphins and be a co-owner. He's done. Like this offseason, it's a lot of golf. It's a lot of branding. It's not a lot of football. Last couple years, a little less football in the offseason, a little more fun. Tom's moving on. Okay, so that means if you acquire Baker Mayfield with that defense in a weak division with two other teams rebuilding, in 1 year, Baker's the best quarterback. And you say to yourself, well, you never liked him anyway. No, I think he needs to grow up. But let me give an example. The Chargers in San Diego at the time bailed on Breeze. He found the culture that bought into him. Well, he's not Breeze. Here's some interesting numbers. Here's the numbers for Baker Mayfield in Cleveland and Drew Brees with the Chargers. They are virtually identical. You didn't know Drew Brees was great either until he was surrounded by really good O-lines and great defenses. You didn't know he would be that. I don't think Baker is as good a thrower as Drew Brees. I don't think he's quite as committed or as focused or as accurate, but Baker can play. Baker's absolutely a top 25 quarterback in this league, but at the time Brees moved over, we didn't think he was a top 15 quarterback. Chargers gave up on him for Phillip Rivers. Just something to think about. This one works. Carolina really doesn't. It really doesn't work because their owner, the billionaire, he wants Super Bowls. And I don't think Baker's a Super Bowl quarterback, and I think they're rebuilding. But New Orleans has a reputation of drafting really well and giving their quarterbacks a lot to work with. And now that Jameis Winston is limping around, it's not exactly like everybody's all in on Jameis, and Taysom Hill's out of the room, and this is going to be too good of a team in New Orleans to go 5-12 or 4-13. And in my opinion, probably way too good, even with Jameis Winston, to go like 6-11. So you're not going to get Bryce Young. You're not going to get Stroud at Ohio State. You're not going to be in that class. There's too many bad teams out there, and I can name them right now. Two of them in your division, Atlanta, Carolina. Baker to the Saints makes a ton of sense. And by the way, the Browns roster is very good. They don't need a ton. What they could probably use, because they're getting kind of expensive, is a draft pick or two. This isn't the NBA where salaries have to match. Browns could use some draft picks because they're going to pay their new quarterback, I don't know, $1 zillion all guaranteed in a really tough division. What they need is to make sure that great quarterback has weapons and they're a little shaky at wide receiver. So to me, this works. It's very positive. I hope I have pivoted off my negative Baker brand into Mr. Glass Half Full, Mr. Sunshine for Baker Mayfield. But I think his career would be, to some level, reborn. It's a reboot. It's a good organization. It's a weak division. Brady retires. Best quarterback. May not last long. Atlanta may get the #1 pick.
All right, man. So he says that he's not committed as Breeze. He's not Baker's not committed as Breeze, but he would work. Then he states that the Saints have always had give Drew Brees really good defense. Yeah, I agree towards the end of his career. I recall in 2014 and 2016, Saints had some of the worst defenses in the NFL. And that was Breeze's prime years. They waited till he got out of his prime to surround him with good defense. And the Saints have not always had elite receivers. They've had guys that could get up. I mean, the most part, they had guys that could get open and get behind a defensive back and get touchdowns. Best they've had outside of Michael Thomas was Marcus Coaster. Lance Moore was a pretty good slot guy. He was probably better than anything the Saints had prior to that, getting Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave. But of all the teams he mentioned, man, they could have. I mean, he chose the Saints. That's despite Jameis Winston on the team, and everybody's running with that report now that Winston got a noticeable limp in his motion. I wouldn't make too much out of that. I think this is Jameis Winston's team. He just signed a 2-year deal with the team. In the draft, they had opportunity to take a quarterback. They passed on that opportunity. They had opportunity to take Malik Willis, Desmond Ritter, Kenny Pickett, all of the big names that were in that draft. Those guys fell big time. And the Saints decided to go with Jameis Winston. They had the guy they wanted. He's in Cleveland now, Deshaun Watson. So it is what it is, man. Jameis Winston is the Saints QB1. Baker Mayfield, I believe he could work out with the Saints, but you don't have Sean Payton in the building. I think you need a guy like, not necessarily to knock on Dennis Allen or anything like that, but I think you need a guy like Sean Payton to reel Baker Mayfield in, with those bad habits he has. And he couldn't do anything with the roster he had in Cleveland, which I think is pretty stacked. And I know good and well, he probably won't be able to do anything with this roster, especially with having a defensive-minded head coach. We'll be running the crap out of the football. My opinion, if Baker Mayfield become the Saints had to make a move for Baker Mayfield, but I don't think this is a good move. I mean, if Sean Payton was here, I wouldn't be against it, but you got Jameis Winston in the building now. You got him locked up for the next, I think he's going to be here for this year and the following year. That's because Saints give him that contract. I know it's like a 1-year deal, but they gave away a draft pick, a first-round pick. They expect to continue these next 2 seasons with their defense. But I don't think. Nice try, Colin, but nah, bro. We good. We good on James. Not on taking Baker Mayfield. He can stay. He go to other team, but not the Saints. Just being real with y'all, man. I know it's the off season, and these guys got to have content, and they got to go viral, and drive revenue, drive clicks, and all that other stuff. But man, you could have. They got situations out there where Baker Mayfield could be successful. I think Carolina is not a bad situation for Baker Mayfield. Seattle, it's not bad either, but the offensive line is a question mark. But they trying to reboot that when they got some. I think they took Charles Cross in the first round, so they're trying to do something up there in Seattle. But Baker Mayfield, the Saints, nah, that don't make sense. You could go any other places, and be successful, but not the Saints. We got a quarterback. We got Jameis Winston. We tried to go for Watson. It didn't work out. And we passed on numerous quarterbacks in the NFL draft. So we good to go. So there you have it, man. I'm not gonna make too much of that. Winston having a limp in training camp. It's already been reported, man. It's been reported by Nick Underhill, the local media, the networks. Don't know why the national press is making a big deal out of this. So we'll see how everything plays out. I'm 100% confident that Winston will be ready by training camp and on week 1 when he take on the Atlanta Falcons. So there's that. All right, man. That's all I have for y'all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how y'all feel. How you feel about Pete Warner starting over Kwon Alexander, and your thoughts on Colin Cowherd making that trade idea of the Saints making a move for Baker Mayfield. Also in the description box below, check out strike7sports.com/Saints for latest content of the War Saints organization. Have a blessed night. Peace. Who that? I'm out.